Hey everybody, this is Rykard here again, and welcome to my next Pokemon sets video, this time featuring Emboar. Now, I did an analysis on this guy way back when, almost 2 years ago, before Black and White even came out, so I figured it might be time for a little bit of an update on what this guy can do, and I show you a couple of sets that I like using with him. So without any further delay, let's take a look at Emboar's typing, abilities, and stats. So first off, as most of you probably know already, Emboar sports the firefighting typing, similar to that of Blaziken and Infernape, and in my opinion this is one of the best offensive typings in the game, just because there are so many things that you can hit for super effective damage, and on a Pokemon like Emboar, which has some ridiculous attack stats, no Pokemon really want to have to switch in on a move coming from this guy. But for the abilities, the first one that Emboar gets is known as Blaze, which is an ability that increases the power of fire-type moves by 50% when you're below a third of your health or less. And that is always great for this Pokemon to allow it to do some extra damage when it's running low on HP. But for its second ability, known as Reckless, which is its Dream Mode ability, this is a very, very useful ability for Emboar once it comes out, because it increases the power of moves that have recoil, and Emboar learns a bunch of moves with recoil. So once that comes out, be on the lookout for Scarf sets with this Pokemon, because I'm assuming that those are going to become incredibly common once that ability is released. But for the stats, it is a very offensively loaded Pokemon, as I said before, sporting 123 physical attack and 100 special attack, meaning that Emboar can hit very hard from both the physical and special side. As for its defenses, though, they are a bit lacking. However, its 110 base HP kind of makes up for that just a bit, because you do have a little bit more HP to take hits with, even though your defenses, being at base 65 for both of the sides, really aren't too fantastic. And its speed, unfortunately, is a bit lacking, being only base 65. So that is going to be a little bit of a problem for Emboar whenever you use it, just because there are a bunch of Pokemon that will outspeed it because of its low base speed. But with that, let's take a look at the first set that I have for you in this video, which is a mixed attacking wallbreaker set that I came up with a while back. So in this first set, we're going to start by giving Emboar a Naughty Nature to increase its physical attack but lower its special defense, and then we're going to be going with the ability Blaze. As for the EVs, we're going to put 160 into HP, because we're not making Emboar very fast on this set, so you're bound to take a hit, and this is a little bit of a buffer zone to allow you to do so just a little bit better than you normally would be. Then we're going to put 96 EVs into our physical attack to buff that just a bit, 240 EVs into our special attack to give us almost max special attack, and then 12 EVs into speed to give us enough speed to outspeed a standard Alomomola, which is a very important part of this set, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the moves. But for the item, you could either go with an Expert Belt or a Life Orb. I personally prefer the Expert Belt just because Scarf Emboar is very common, so having an Expert Belt on it will basically hide what item you have, and maybe get the jump on your opponent because they're expecting a Scarf set. Though Life Orb could be there to allow you to do more damage consistently. As for the moves, though, the first one that we're going to go with is either going to be Flare Blitz or Fire Punch, and I'm pretty sure he gets Fire Punch now because of the move tutors. I didn't really check, but I'm just going to assume. But both of these moves are very powerful fire physical stab moves for Emboar to use. Flare Blitz obviously does have a negative effect in the form of recoil, so that's why Fire Punch could be used, but I would not recommend going with Flare Blitz and Life Orb together if you are going to do that. But if you want to, go ahead if you want to just have some insane power with that move. But with that, from the physical side of this set, we're also going to be going with Superpower to allow us to hit things really hard from the physical fighting type stab that Emboar will get. And with this attack EV with these attack EVs and nature, I'm pretty sure that a Miltank will always die to a superpower no matter what set it's running after Stealth Rock. So that is something really awesome about this set. Next up, though, from the special side of the spectrum, we're going to be giving Emboar Overheat, which will basically allow it to hit things super hard with fire type stab from the special side. It does have that negative -2 special attack drop, but this Emboar probably won't be staying in for more than a turn or two anyways, so you're not really going to have to worry about that too much. And then lastly, we're going to round off the set with HP Grass or HP Electric hidden power, by the way. People always ask what HP means. Just to give you some more coverage and allow you to hit things for more super effective damage from the special side. So overall, this set is basically meant to take on the various walls you're going to run into in NU, and it can do this extremely well because of its ability to run a mixed set. Hidden Power Grass, Expert Belted, or Life Orb will be a 2-hit KO on most Alomomola, and with the 12 speed EVs, as I said before, you're probably going to be outspeeding most Alomomola anyway. And Alomomola is normally a big counter to Emboar since most of them run physical base sets. So this is a way to get a jump on a standard wall. Amoonguss is very popular, so you could either go Flare Blitz or Overheat with that. And there are a lot of options where you have the opportunity to hit both from the physical and special side, and it's really cool being able to do that very effectively with this set. I love using this. I have found that it is possibly one of the best Emboar sets to use if you're just planning on having a massively powerful Pokemon on your team. I know people like to use Scarf ones, but personally, I get a lot more mileage out of running just a mixed set with insanely powerful moves like this one. So I hope you give this a shot. I really enjoy using it. But with that, let's take a look at the next set that I have for you in this video, which is a bit of a boosting set that I kind of reworked since I premiered it a couple years ago. So for this next set, we're going to start by giving Emboar an impish nature to increase its physical defense but lower its special attack. And for the ability, we're going to be going with Blaziken, which sounds a lot like Blaziken, which I thought was funny the first time I recorded this, so I figured I'd share that with you. But for the EVs, we're going to put 172 into HP, which will give us an HP number of 404, allowing us to make substitutes of 101 HP, making Seismic Toss not able to break subs, which is kind of an important part of this set anyways. Then we're going to put 252 EVs into our physical defense to give us our max physical defense possible, followed by 84 EVs into our special defense to give us a little bit more bulk from the special defensive side. As to the item, we're going to be going with leftovers this time to allow us to recover a little bit of HP every turn, which is very useful on a set like this because it will allow us to recover off some of the damage or some of the health we're losing from substitute, and also allow us to just last a lot longer in battle as we boost. But for the moves, the first one, as I've said a couple times already, is going to be Substitute to allow us to get behind a little bit of a protective barrier and protect us from attacks that may be coming our way. And up next, we're going to be going with Bulk Up to allow us to increase our physical attack and our physical defense by 1 stage every time we use it. And a lot of you might be wondering right now, hey, why don't you run max special defense with Bulk Up? And the reason is the same reason why I run max physical defense on the Heatmore set that I made a while back, because Emboar really can't take hits that well even if it does have max special defense. So you might as well just boost 1 defense and be able to set up against physical attackers, in my opinion. But with that, we're also going to be using Flame Charge as our main physical attacking move from the fire side of the set. And it's kind of funny in the sense that it is a pretty weak move, being only base 50 power, but it allows us to also increase our speed as we are boosting with Bulk Up. So think of it as like Quiver Dance in 2 moves, but from the physical side. So overall, this will eventually lead to Emboar being very fast as you use this move, and also very defensive and powerful from the bulk ups. And I was extremely impressed with how much damage Emboar can do after just 1 bulk up, because 1 bulk up will basically equal more physical attack than max physical attack EV investment in Emboar, if you want to think of it that way. So this guy can definitely dish out some hefty damage from the fire side, even though your fire move is fairly weak in terms of base power. But with that, we're going to round everything off by having Emboar use Brick Break to allow it to hit things with its fighting type stab. Base 75, and it's pretty good overall, breaks through Light Screen and Reflect, which is always a bonus. But overall, this set is really fun to use, and I have a blast using it. I've been using it a lot recently on Pokemon Showdown. So with that, let's take a look at a clip of me using it. It's not the most ideal video footage of this set because my opponent kind of messed up, which allowed me to set up on him, but it's pretty cool just to see in general how this set works. So let's take a look at that right now. So things start off here with me bringing in my Emboar on this Cacturne. I see that it is obviously going to be a physical Cacturne because most of them are, so I take the opportunity to set up a substitute and then immediately go for bulk ups. Now, my opponent went for spikes, and I probably should have went for more than just 1 bulk up, and you'll see why that could have been even cooler if I did it in a moment. But I just go for Flame Charge to take it out. Now, Electros comes in. I didn't think I'd be faster after 1 Flame Charge, but I was. So I am able to hit it pretty hard. I know I can live this Thunderbolt, and then I hit it one more time after the brick break with another flame charge to make me a +3 speed now. I can see that right there. Absol comes in. I predicted the sucker punch, so I just went for sub again, but he just went for psycho cut. And then I realized I was faster, so I went for brick break to kill it. Now here this muck comes in. Brick break from that, as you can see, did like 13% after one bulk up, which is pretty cool. Then I go for flame charge on it a couple times. I'm not able to take it out though, and he unfortunately gets a crit right there, which is able to kill my Emboar. He probably had Shadow Sneak anyway, so it didn't matter, but it was unfortunate because I probably could have swept the rest of his team with this set. All he had left was a Gardevoir, which I'm not sure why he didn't bring that in earlier, which is why I said my opponent kind of messed up in that sense, but it was no big deal because it allowed me to kind of show this off just a bit. But anyways, that is it for this video, so I hope you enjoy my re-evaluation of Emboar. This Pokemon is possibly my favorite of the fire starters that you get, and it's just an awesome looking fire pig. How could you go wrong with that? But with that, thank you all for watching, take care as always, and goodbye.